The UN Arbitral Tribunal may rule on whether it has jurisdiction over the Philippines' territorial dispute with China this month or September this year. Supreme Court Associate Justice Antonio Carpio said this is an interview with newsmen at the Senate. He said if the court rules it has jurisdiction, it may decide on the merits of the case by May next year. More of this report from Jade Miguel.
Supreme Court Justice Carpio said he expects a decision from the UN Arbitral Tribunal regarding their jurisdiction on our case against China on the issue of West Philippine Sea by August or September. Should the tribunal determine their jurisdiction and eventually come up with a ruling on our favor, Carpio said the government is confident that the tribunal would junk China's 9-line claim on the disputed territory. But if China still won't follow the said decision, the Philippines expects support from the international community, particularly the United States, when it comes to military defense against China.
Before Malaysia refused even to discuss, but now they said it has to be discussed. Singapore said we cannot ignore the reclamations anymore. So the reclamations have really unnerved a lot of our ASEAN neighbors, and they are now more supportive. They want China to discuss now the code of conduct, the long delay, because it's been more than a decade now.
Moreover, Carpio said the case may also reach the International Court of Justice.
We can only submit it to ICJ, the International Court of Justice, with the consent of China. But of course, China will not consent. So what we can do is convince our ASEAN neighbors, Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, and Indonesia, the other disputant states, to agree among ourselves that the territorial dispute should be submitted to arbitration by ICJ.
Carpio further shared that during the bilateral talks conducted years ago, China urged to discuss revenue sharing and our surrender of sovereignty to the West Philippine Sea, which the justice thinks no president would ever agree.
Every time we talk to China about negotiating the dispute, they will say, okay, we will talk about revenue sharing of the oil, the gas, but you must first concede sovereignty to China. I think any president will agree to concede sovereignty to China just to get 50% of the oil that already belongs to us under international law.
For the People's Television, this is Jade Miguel reporting.